One of those strange days in January where the morning stretched into the early afternoon before I realized it, and a nap ambushed me. I woke up a few hours later, feeling warm and groggy. I sat up, rubbing my face, clearing my throat. It felt scratchy and rough. Then I lay back down sideways across my bed, still half asleep. I could hear branches rubbing against the window panes of my bedroom, and then I hauled myself into a sitting position again and rubbed my face and my eyes. I found a car key to a truck I was trying to sell on the floor of my bedroom and ran the cool metal of the key between my bare toes, and it felt good and helped wake me up. Before I had fallen asleep, I had been rifling through various papers and documents trying to find the title to the truck I was trying to sell, something I remained unsuccessful at for quite a while, unfortunately. I grabbed the water bottle next to my bed and drank the rest of it, my throat feeling strangely scratchy and almost painful, and finally made my way to the bathroom where I looked at myself in the mirror. Refilling the water bottle from the tap, I looked at myself and considered the value of a reflection. Not much in an economy like this. Then I drank several huge gulps of water and started coughing and choking, and my throat started clenching and spasming uncontrollably. I started coughing and clawing at the mirror, trying to just grasp one breath of air. There I was, kind of lurched, bent over the sink, my hands on the countertop. I was barely breathing between different heaves in and chokes and coughs out. And finally, with great effort, something was dislodged from my craw, and it was jettisoned forth with great force. And I couldn't see what it was at first. And I wiped away at my eyes, for they were watering something fierce. I wiped it. There it was, kind of heaving, blubbering, kind of almost breathing, and seeping in the sink. Obviously, I didn't recognize it as nothing like I'd ever seen before. I didn't even realize how it could have fit in my throat. I don't know what part of my throat it was in, either my windpipe or my... I don't know how throats work, but it was in there somehow, and I was glad I had coughed it up. But I scooped it up and I put it on a pan of some sort that I found in a cabinet. And here I am drawing what it looked like for you now. It's about the size of my fist. Probably smaller. I must be exaggerating. I don't know how it would be that big. Thankfully, I got this drawing started before it somehow shriveled up to about the size of a pea over the course of about 4 or 5 hours. Obviously, I wasn't done with the drawing by then, but I was able to draw the rest from memory. And after about 4 or 5 hours was done, the stench of the thing was so great that I had to put it into a sealed bottle, which I initially bought for putting various inks in. The sealed bottle I still had, and I kept for several days until I finished the drawing. And I took it over to a local medical lab to have some tests done on it, just to see what sort of material it was made out of. Was it organic? Was it plant life, animal life, or just some sort of mineral? I really couldn't tell by touching it, especially now that it had shriveled up. It felt as hard as a rock. It clinked and rattled around in the little jar I had it in. And I wasn't even sure that if it wasn't all a strange memory, a dream from when I first woke up from my strange feverish nap a few days before. I just didn't know. My only vivid memory of it is now what I've put here on the paper. Obviously, this is much bigger, much more detailed and vivid. And it all is that day, waking up from that dream, is just a hazy memory, like all the dreams I ever have. It's hard to say. All I yet remember is a strangely sour, metallic taste it left in my mouth. And sometimes now I wake up in the middle of the night and drink a bunch of water just to make sure there's nothing obstructing it and that I can breathe clearly. Sometimes I wear a face mask as I sleep now, covering my whole face, covering my nose and my mouth and my eyes, and even my ears, just to make sure that nothing can crawl in or get at me in any way ever while I'm lying there defenseless. And I'm sure I must look terrifying, for one time I found myself on my feet in the middle of the night, roaming the house, looking into various mirrors, and finally I looked into one somewhat well lit. And me, there, the man in the reflection, also had a mask on with an expression painted on it that looked extremely startled. It surprised and scared me a little, to say the least. A lot of other strange things started happening. Extra empty plates left lying around I had never bought or eaten off of. Strange grimy residues around the drains of the sinks and bathtubs that looked oily and smelled metallic that I would wipe away with my fingertips. A couple weeks later, when I went to collect the lab results on the specimen I had dropped off, there was only an empty lot, long overgrown, where the medical lab had once stood, or at least where I thought it had been. I couldn't find it, not even online. Strange. Anyways, this is all I have left of it, just this drawing. So, take a good look. Goodbye.